Hello, today I'm going to take you through the liability and contingency calculator as part of the Primetime tools and resources. Now the liabilities and contingency calculator is part of the integrated master budget, and it's very important to determine what your net wealth is and what you can spend through retirement and what you might pass on in your estate plan. So what we're going to do is we'll find that within, if you haven't used an integrated financial planning tool before, it'll be found within the Primetime tools and templates on the left hand side of your home page. So we just click on that and then you'll see here within the Primetime integrated financial budget calculator, it's contained within there. Now, if you've already used a financial budget calculator and you have downloaded it and saved it, it will either be on your computer or within your filing cabinet if you've uploaded it into your filing cabinet. So you may have put it here within your taking care of business finance. Okay, so you might have put it in your budget calculations, assets and debts. So now I have downloaded a couple of tools and we'll just go through them. So when you first open any of the tools, you may come up with a security warning regarding the macros. It'll be up here, and what you need to do is you need to click on the enable content to be able to get into the spreadsheet or the tool. So I've downloaded now the budget integrated financial calculators, and we're here at the start area. You just need to start and agree to the terms. Now the liability, the contingency calculator is towards the bottom here. What I do when I first start up is I update it to the current date so I know when the last time it was that I worked on the budget. So 23rd of the 3rd, make sure that everybody is within the all the people that might be involved in your planning and maintained within your area here. I've just checked the advisor user details. This is a worked example to make it easier for you to see how it works. And so then we just press the go button. So what happens here, I'll just go back, I pressed on the wrong one. This is the liability contingency calculator. Okay, so on the left hand side here, it's got a description of the loan, liability or obligation or guarantee. So we've started off, we've got I've put in a margin loan for the lab. Who the borrower is, now the borrowers are dropped down from the front screen that I showed you where all the people who are involved in your planning might be kept. So depends, the borrower might be a company, might be a person. So in this case it's Bill. What the balance is, the terms of the liability and when the expiry date is. So the expiry dates are dropped down and what the repayment might be per year. So that gives you a sense of where your liabilities are at and what they might be for. So other financial liabilities, you might have credit cards, loans or others. Once again, just go through, fill it out, and then you get total financial liabilities and what your repayment might be per year. So now there's another section called guarantees, obligations or contingencies. Now this is something that may not be an actual financial liability, but it's a potential liability. So for example, if you've entered into a personal guarantee for someone, for example one of the kids' mortgages, you might have gone as guarantor for that. You might have exited a family business, but you might still be liable for a longer term lease, etc. So it's worthwhile understanding what they are, because they are future potential liabilities. and they might have an end year which goes out a fair way. So when you're working with your accountant or your financial broker, your financial broker, your financial planner, you might be wanting to try to work your way out of these contingencies because they are still a risk to your retirement life. If those contingencies get triggered, you might find you've got to be on the hook for some debt. Okay, so once this is complete, you can see here the total financial liabilities are here, and here's the total contingencies. Now that feeds through into a couple of different areas. First of all, it feeds into your net asset calculator. So here it automatically feeds into your net asset calculator to work out what your net assets are. Because when you're working out what your net assets are, you need to work out what it is after your debts. So if you carry that forward after tax, you can see that although your total assets might be 3.3 million or 3 million after tax, if you're that lucky, I suppose most people probably don't have that level of assets, but then after you take away the liabilities, it's down to 2.7 or 3.1. Okay, and then your means test value, you need to check with your, depending on your jurisdiction where you live, but work through whether those liabilities and debts can be taken off your means testing for the purposes of welfares and benefits. So that works through to there, and that also then works through to your master budget. Okay, so when you look at your master budget, it will look at your net assets, but then your contingencies are also carried through, and they're automatically calculated as they drop off. So you can see here the contingencies start off at 410,000, and then by the year 2028 those contingencies will then be extinguished. So you can see back here in the net asset, the liability contingency calculator, you can see that 2027 is the last year of your business lease. Okay, so if the business lasts till 2027, and then all your liabilities will be gone. So that's how you work the net assets and contingencies calculator. It's a very important part of the whole financial planning. It's a useful tool to work with your accountants or your financial planner or your finance broker. So enjoy retirement, enjoy your planning. Thanks very much.